There are seasons. There are seasons in your relationships. There are seasons in your career. And some of those seasons are seasons of learning, seasons of action, seasons of growth. You know, there's seasons of abundance and scarcity. And it's interesting right now is I see that a lot of people are in the season of review. They're looking at where they are in their professional lives and they're thinking to themselves, is there more? Is there something else? You know, when I started this business, when I got into even starting my business generally, I was the go-to person in the business that I was working in. I was the action taker, the doer. You know, if there was a special project, if there was something a little different, it would be handed to me and I'd sort it out. And that's, for many people, that's their role. And it may be for you. You know, you're in the office and someone asks a question, you're the person with the answer. Someone asks who can do this difficult task, and you know that it's you. You know, you didn't start like that. When you began your journey, when you began your professional journey, whether you went to university or whether you went straight to work, there was a season of learning, and there was a season of probably feeling a little incompetent. There was a season of actually not feeling like you had all the answers. And then over time, through knowledge and experience, you built the confidence to be the one with the answers. And right now, a lot of moving parts in the world. There are a lot of questions as to what are your next steps. And so for many of you, for many of those people who have expertise, this is a great opportunity. This is a great time and potentially a calling for you to step up, because there are people who need your guidance. There is people who need your your consulting, your advice, your guidance, your mentorship. And you may have been a mentor before, you may have been a manager before, you may have been a leader within an organization before. But now is not the time for doing for many people. For many people, the time right now is a time to become the mentor, to step into that role where you put action to the side and you put your ego to the side and you decide, now may be the time for me to step into that mentor role and for me to support the future leaders, to support the people who are coming through, to enable people to reach their potential and actually achieve the outcomes that they want to achieve, because I've been able to achieve quite a lot of things in my life. And it's interesting because they will say, no, it's technology. No, it's artificial intelligence. No, your expertise is no longer required. But it is required. Maybe the answers are no longer required because the answers are there. Maybe the knowledge work in the old format is no longer required because, again, the answers are there. But the guidance, the mentorship, the ability to advise people to make decisions, to take steps, I think for many people that's the role. And what a wonderful role. I mean, that's the role that I've been running for probably, I've been doing it for 15 years professionally. Before that, I was running a marketing company. When I was doing a lot of doing. But now I'm stepping into that space where I need to allow others to do. I need to allow my clients to actually learn the lessons and do the tasks so that they build the confidence and then they become experts in the things that they need to become experts in, and I simply support them. And what a fantastic position to be in. It's a purposeful position. Yet it's interesting because a lot of people stepping into this space or thinking about stepping into this space are in a space of fear where they're worried about, do they have all the answers? Do they have all the things that they need? Do they know what are the steps that they need to take from here? And it's interesting because if you go back to when you started, when you were starting that expertise journey to get to where you are now, you were not the expert. You did not have the answers then. You actually took steps with something probably that you loved, something that you enjoyed, a profession that you could dedicate time to, And in doing that, in dedicating that time and actually spending that time and getting better and improving and practicing and building that confidence, you became great. And there is the opportunity to do that now. And it's not the same 20-year, 30-year journey, whatever it's been for you to actually get to this new position. We're talking about 18 months. We're talking about maybe 3 years. But it's about stepping into a space where you get not only paid to learn because you're improving every day. Yes, you'll have the answers out of the gate. But as you become better as a consultant, as you become better as a mentor, you'll realize that by doing the work for your client, you are disabling them. And instead, allowing them to take the steps, allowing them to make the mistakes, allowing them to practice, to build the confidence, you are enabling them. And so there's a fear as to, will I have what I need? Will I have everything that's required to take the steps? And the reality is, you probably won't. You won't have all the steps, but that's why you'll seek teachers. That's why you'll seek mentors of your own. That's why you will learn and practice and make mistakes and learn and practice and find confidence to once again become great. Because there has never been a better time, and I know a lot of people say that, but there has never been a better time to become a mentor. There has never been a better time to take your expertise and build a business of expertise, not around you as the expert, but around you as the guide and the mentor and the consultant that's going to enable someone to take next steps. And it is interesting how people step into this space. You know, there was a guy called Robert, and Robert came from overseas. Overseas, he was quite successful. He came to Australia. He was having trouble. It was an assimilation piece where he was learning to adapt to a new market, right? He was learning to do some new things, and he kept defaulting to his old things. And his old things were helping people get projects delivered. He would become really the pseudo project manager for people. Because he was very good at the doing. And in fact, he would look at everyone else and say, everyone else is no good at the doing, therefore I will do it for them. And in doing it for them, he was disabling the organizations he was working with, which meant that he was always needed within the organization, which is not the place you want to be if you want to be a mentor and a guide. You want to be able to help a client by allowing them to help themselves so you can step back and watch them reach their potential. It's no different than parenting. If you do everything for them, if you become a helicopter parent, the child doesn't grow up to be a well-rounded human. And so we do the same thing with our clients. But this Robert was helping these clients, and he was doing what he thought was the right thing. But what he was getting was what was being given, right? So he was getting referrals. And referrals can be great. But if you're just getting referrals, you're taking what's being handed. You're receiving what's being given. Which is not a bad thing, but if it's all that you've got, you can't feed yourself. And so learning how to actually build a consulting business without needing to take referrals, with being able to feed yourself, is really one of those first steps. And so we helped Robert do that. We helped him take those steps. But he still had that same issue where he kept becoming the production manager. Until I simply said, you know, you don't have to say yes to every element of these engagements. And it sounds simple, but a revelation and a stepping away from production into strategy. And he was able to do that from that point on. He was able to actually take steps into strategy. He got strategic clients. He did strategic work because he was no longer the doer, right? You've probably become who you've become with the confidence that you've got to know that you can do what you need to do because you are the doer. You are the person who can get stuff done. But potentially your next season is to no longer be the doer and to no longer be the just receiver, right? I take responses for proposal. I take referrals. How about instead you select what you want? You select the clients you want to work with. You select the type of work you want to do. You select the things that you want in your professional life, and to be able to get to that place of selection just takes a simple process. And so the select consulting practice, be able to become a selective consultant, a person who selects the things that they want in their work. They select when they work. They select the days they're available. They select the parts of the year that they're available. They take the time to do the other things in their life because they have other seasons and other things that are happening. But they select them by design. And so it's this moving from doer to selector. And so my question to you is now the time to give up the doing. And that doesn't mean you're not going to perform actions in your business. That doesn't mean you're going to perform actions to take next steps. It means you're going to stop saving people. You're going to stop being the savior, and you're going to take things off someone else's plate because you think they can't handle it. Instead, you're going to learn the skills of the consultant. You're going to learn how to be a selective consultant, but also how to mentor a client to enable them to do the things that they need to do, to reach the outcomes that they desire, and to enable them to be well-rounded humans. It's an amazing time. Yes, artificial intelligence is out there, and yes, there is all sorts of emerging technology, but it's there to help us leverage our talents. It's there to help us take steps, make our life easier, so that we can enable others. And so this isn't a profession for everybody, that is for sure. Like, for those people who are just wanting to earn money, they don't want to involve themselves with people, they are not here to help another person reach their potential, they have a different intent. That person, go and sell a product. Go and find something that people want, sell that product, and just put that on repeat, make your money that way. But for those people who love what they do, who love their expertise, who love the world that they've mastered, who are ready to take a next step to enable people to step into that mastery that you developed yourself, to mentor those people to take steps in the direction that you've already taken, to show them a path and teach them what are the actions that they need to take and support them in taking them. If that is you, if that's a path that you're willing to take, if you're ready to stop being the doer and start being the selector, if you're ready to stop doing things for people and you're ready to start selecting who you want to support and enable in your life, those clients, those people who are willing to take steps, those people who are ready for a mentor, if you're ready to do that, then maybe the select consulting journey is for you. And what I like about it is it's not this thing where you go, all right, well, this business where I get to select what I want in my life, well, I'm going to sit on the couch and I'm just going to watch TV, or I'm going to do all these other things. No, there's work. There is absolutely work, but such good work. It's the work that you enjoy doing that got you to where you are. It's the work around the expertise that you love. It's the expertise you've committed so much time to. Now you get to teach and mentor and help other people take steps with them. Great work. School's never out for the professional, and that is the role you're stepping into. From professional to mentor, school's never out for the mentor. The mentor continues to evolve as the world around them continues to evolve. As the world changes, we change to match its context, to enable us to pace and then lead clients. We put our egos to the side to enable our clients to win. They are the Arthur. They are the King Arthur that we are supporting to reach their Camelot. We are the Merlin that sits behind the scenes to enable them. And every time we bring our ego in, and every time we try and get involved, the Merlin story is rife with every time he brought his ego in play, instead of being there to support, every time he went to save, he ended up in trouble. And so learning that process becomes the process. You know, it's one part coach, it's one part consultant, it's one part advisor and mentor and guide. It's a mixed modality. And that's the fun in the learning, and it's learning all those different skills. The skills of influence, but influence through love rather than power. intention is a big deal in this business. And so if you have intentions on gaining power, this is not the place for you. Go and become a politician. Go and sell product. Go and become a mogul and a monopoly in that space. But if you intend good things, if you intend people to reach their potential, if you have love in your heart for people and would like to help them take steps without doing the steps for them, then Select Consulting may be right for you. And if you're interested in that, I put a video together on the fastest way I know to build a successful consulting practice. And you can find it in the details of today's show. It's going to be hidden right down the bottom, but you'll find the link there and you can follow that through. It's interesting. People thought of consultants a certain way. And you may have thought of the role of a consultant that way too, which is the contractor, the person who comes in to do. But the modern consultant, the consultant who enables themselves to be selective about what's in their life, they are flexible in the work that they want to do. They have very high profits. 90% of their income is profit that they get to take home to their families, to build a lifestyle that they love. That's the modern consultant, and that's the role that you have the opportunity to step into when you're ready. So the question for you is, what is this season? If it's been a season of review, could this be the path? Or is it something else? If you've started your consulting practice, is this the time to get support, to take steps, to learn an easier way? If it's been hard, because it shouldn't be hard. Yes, it's work, but it's fun work. It's joyous work. It's the sort of work that you want to do. It's the sort of work that you would commit 10, 20 years to because you know that it's more of a calling than a job. And so if you want that calling, if you want that professional lifestyle with the flexibility and the abilities to do what you want and work when you want, with who you want, anywhere in the world, technology is so useful to enable us to do those things. Then the question for you is, do you want to stay a doer? Or do you want to become a selector? Do you want to stay the person who does the work, or do you want to become a selective consultant? Do you want to be the person who saves people and feels good about themselves that they did that one act by disabling the person at the same time as you save them? Or do you want to be the person who actually selects to step back and enable somebody to actually win at life themselves? My name's Russell Pearson. This is Your Consulting Business Podcast, episode 139. Until next time, stay passionate, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.